My next guest is going to be fighting for the flyweight title coming up here on November 21st at UFC 255. It is Alex Perez joining me here on the program. Alex, how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, but I'm not fighting for some hardware coming up here in November, man. Congratulations. Of course, Cody Garbrandt was supposed to get the title shot. He's out due to injury. You get in. When did you find out about this? Because this kind of happened pretty quickly by the looks of it.
I found out probably the day before everybody else found out. Manager gave me a call, and Jason gave me a call. He's in Abu Dhabi, so he called me like in the middle of the night and told me. I was like, man, it was like 11:30. I was like, I couldn't even sleep after that. My eyes were wide awake. I was like, man, I'm fighting for a world title.
It's crazy, man, and obviously well-deserved. I mean, you've had a great record in the UFC. It's something we talked about last fight. Was this a possibility? It comes together. I got to know, what's the feedback been like from the friends and family over the last maybe couple days just hearing this news? Because this is a huge opportunity for you in your career.
They're excited. Everybody keeps congratulating me. I'm like, man, we haven't done anything yet. Congratulate me after I win,
Yeah. But still, I mean, knowing how long you have a lot of fights, Alex. I mean, we've been doing interviews for a while. It's been a long road for you to get to this point. I know you're not old either. I mean, you're in your late 20s. So the fact that you're getting this opportunity must feel kind of like the hard work's paid off. I know you still got to go out there and win, but have you at least been able to look back on where you got to or where you've come from getting to this point?
Yeah, especially when they told me, just reflecting back on everything I've gone through and all the sacrifices I've done throughout the years, definitely shows that hard work has paid off. And, I didn't take no shortcuts to get where I'm at.
And I think the nice thing about this fight, too, is that, two things. Number one, it's not like you're taking this on like a week's notice. You got a little bit of time to do this. And you were already preparing for a fight on the exact same card. So how much of a benefit is that for people who might not know? Because I know it's a different opponent, but still, I mean, you knew that you were going to be fighting on this date.
It's big just because, obviously, the weight. You don't want to, shorten up the weight cut, have to do some stuff extra or short camp basically for a new opponent. I still got a lot of time where, we're bringing down film and we're getting the game plan together.
Does it make that much of a difference having to cut that extra pound, right? Because you have to make championship weight as opposed to 126?
No, not really. When I fought in North Carolina, I actually weighed at 125 and a half. So, I mean, and it was an easy weight cut. Probably it's getting easier and easier, just getting into rhythm with professional athletes. We've been together now for 3 years, so we know each other pretty well, and she knows what my body can do and can't do. And obviously, I always check with her, and they think we can do it, so I should be fine.
Now, I talked about the positive feedback. Have you felt any, got any haters coming out? Because, a lot of people I've seen, say, oh, Brandon Moreno deserves it, because he had, he's had more fights and I think he's had maybe more of a winning streak. Have you dealt with that at all leading into this?
Not really. I mean, people were like, oh, you said that. Like, to me, it doesn't matter. Obviously, someone thought I should be fighting for the title instead of him. So I got the shot. I mean, if people are gonna be, people are going to be upset and stuff, but like I tell people, life isn't always fair, man. You don't get what you deserve sometimes you do. And I feel I deserved it. I feel I have, he was in the UFC before me, and he fought guys that aren't even in the UFC anymore, but I feel I was in the UFC when they were still ranking guys top 15, and then I got booted out of the rankings because I went up to 35 thinking they were going to cut the division. So, I mean, it's just opinion. I can care less.
Yeah, and I think, too, people don't really look too much at what you did in your last fight. Like, you got a finish over Formiga in the first round. That's the type of win that will get you big opportunities like a title shot. Moreno, to his credit, he got the win, but it went the distance. Do you think that's something that people are kind of overlooking here? Because that, to me, when I saw you get the shot, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But a lot of people were like, Brandon Moreno should get it.
Honestly, I feel like I look, because obviously I was getting ready to fight Formiga and I was getting ready to fight Brandon, so I was watching their fight. I honestly feel that, man, Jasur, it could have gone Jasur's way. I didn't think it was a unanimous decision. I thought it was at least a split because, I mean, Jasur had way more control time, took his back, took mount. I mean, it wasn't like they were, like, going crazy. They were, Brandon landed more shots. It was a pretty even fight. I feel me finishing them got me the title shot.
And last thing, just sort of leading into the fight, the other thing I hear from people, and again, I'm kind of just taking a scale on social media to see what people are saying about this. Everyone's like, well, this is the guy who got destroyed by Benavidez, but I think what people don't realize in that fight is that, that was just weird circumstances, and not just that, but I mean, you've improved tremendously since that fight as well. What do you say to those people who say that, well, when you fought a top guy, you ended up losing?
it just wasn't my night. There's really no excuse. Whatever it was, it just wasn't my night. If you fight 10 times, who knows how many times we would win. It's whoever's on that night. You can have the best training camp, the worst training camp. But if you're on that night, great. If you're off that night, then you're off. I've seen it with different people. I've seen it with different athletes. It is what it is. When people start saying stuff, it just makes me laugh because I'm my biggest critic. So whatever people say about me, it's not really going to bother me.
And I think people forget, too, the fight before that, you did the exact same thing to Jose Shorty Torres, who no one's done that to, I think, even since, in terms of just dominating him in the fight. So, again, got to look at the whole resume. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Now, this fight is going to be in Vegas. It's not going to be on Fight Island, which I'm sure you're happy about, not as much travel, but it's also going to be in a smaller cage. Do you feel like that favors you?
I don't think it matters. I think it benefits both of us. Our style is both to come forward. I mean, you never see me take a step back. You don't see this guy taking a step back, so I think it's going to be better for the fans in general. Smaller cage, more action.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So how do you feel like you match up against him here? We know he's got knockout power. We saw that against Benavidez. Pretty big guy for the division like yourself. How do you look at this from a style perspective?
I feel that we match up pretty well. I think, we have two different kind of strategies and two different styles. He's more of a power puncher. I'm more of a numbers guy. I'm mixing the grappling stuff. I've seen him mix up the grappling when he needs it. So I feel that it's going to be a great fight. I feel it's going to be fight of the night. This guy's definitely a force to be reckoned with, but I feel like I got the answer.
Training camp, business as usual, changing anything up, or just keeping it as usual at Colin Oyama's?
Keeping it as it is. I ended up going to Factory X for a little bit.
That's right. I did see you that with Brandon Royval. There was that photo of you guys out there, which was cool.
Yeah, I ended up going out there. Great camp. I love those guys. Super cool guys. Went out there for a while, and then I came back, and now we're just getting ready. I got my regular training partners. I got Ricky Simon out here. He's out here helping me. Chio, obviously Lewis, and some of the younger guys. This kid named Saeed out. He just came to the gym. A couple other guys that are big help in this camp. My wrestling guys, Miguel, Tim, all those guys are still here. So I'm still training with the same crew.
But then you got in that flavor of Factory X, which is good. I heard it's kind of like a family over there. I imagine you sort of gelled in well with those guys because they're all, they're kind of pranksters as well, but they work very hard in the gym.
Oh, yeah, those guys are great. I mean, they're fun. They're super energetic. Definitely, Yusa is one of those guys that the gym's quiet when he's not in, but when he's in, man, you can hear him from the other side of the gym. I know
MMA math doesn't always work, but I mean, the last loss that Figueiredo had was to Formiga, a guy that you finished in the first round. Does that give you a little bit more confidence going into the fight, or do you think every fighter's different on a certain night?
Every fighter's different on a certain night, man.
Okay.
Like I said, you can have the best training camp, worst training camp. It's just whoever's on that night. He could have had a bad night, and he could have been feeling 100%, just had, bad performance. So I don't really take much out of it. I just obviously break it down and kind of see what he was successful with so that I can use.
Do you have to change anything in the training to go those extra 2 rounds, or do you sort of prepare for that anyways? I know some fighters are like, I just in my head think it's going to be 5 rounds, so I'll go a little bit harder.
No, I mean, Team Oyama, we grind. We don't just, 3 and you're done. We grind. I mean, there's nothing really different going into this training camp. No extra cardio, just doing the same things I've always done. I feel gas tank is my strong suit, so I'm not changing anything. Maybe taking a little bit more rest days because it's kind of a long camp. This is probably the longest camp I've had. So yeah, that's about it.
If the fight does go longer, like let's say it does go to the scorecards, who do you think that benefits? Like you mentioned your cardio. Do you think you have better cardio than he does?
I think I have better cardio than a lot of guys at the weight at 25. Not just him. I feel like in general, that's one thing I push is my cardio, my pace. Me coming forward the whole time. Those are things that I really focus on.
And like I mentioned, you knew you had the fight coming up, so I'm sure the weight's probably on point. How are things going? How are things right now? I should say with your weight. We're more than a month away.
Good. Perfecting Athletes does all my weight cuts, so they're on me year round. Because I always like to take short notice fights, so they're on me year round. So my weight's good. Everything's fine. Body feels great. Just another training camp.
How do you see this fight playing out on November 21st?
Me with my hand raised. I don't think people are counting me out in this fight. They've counted me out my whole career, but I feel like I match up well with this guy. I feel that I'm just a little better everywhere, and it's going to be a great fight. But I see myself with my hand getting raised and the belt around my waist.
And not looking ahead of this fight, but the implications of this, obviously winning a championship, what would that mean? You know, like I said, 24-5 record. So, almost 30 fights in your career, 28 years old to win a title. What would that mean to you with everything that you put into this?
Just that all the sacrifice paid off, from living on people's couches to living at the gym to where I'm at now, missing family events, anniversaries, just things like that, just birthdays, everything I've missed in the last 10 years is all going to be worth it, that night.
And downtime. I know there's probably not much of it. This is a huge fight for you, but what are you doing to kind of break things up in between training and all that? I know you don't watch a ton of TV, but what's been kind of your go-to?
Man, I've been watching Beat Bobby Flay.
Oh, cool. Okay. A lot of fighters watch cooking shows, I guess, because they have to cut weight. It's like they're kind of thinking of what they can have after the fight.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always kind of been into like Chopped and stuff like that, like cooking shows, like Iron Chef America, stuff like that. I don't know why. I just always kind of went to that. People think, oh, it's because you're cutting weight. It's like, kind of hit or miss.
Okay. Is there a particular meal that you like making? Like, you strike me as someone who's probably a good cook.
Oh heck no! I'm a horrible cook. I can survive for sure. I can make my meal. Yeah. Might not taste the best, but I'll survive. But it's not. No, I don't do any of the cooking. No.
Okay. What is there? Do you have like a favorite meal though? Like, what's something right now in camp that you can have that's like on the top of the list that you'll probably have after the fight?
I would go like pizza, Korean barbecue, pancakes, things like that.
Okay, you go all out. That's good. I like it.
Yeah, I'm an all-you-can-eat guy. I go to all-you-can-eat spots because going to a regular spot is going to cost me too much.
Alex, congratulations on the opportunity. I know you still got to go out there and fight, but that's still pretty cool for you to get this opportunity, like I said, at 28 years old. Just remind people where they can get a hold of you on social media. I'm sure you got some shout-outs you want to give, so the floor is yours, man.
You guys can find me at Alex Perez MMA on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I just want to thank my friends, family, for all the support. November 21st is right around the corner, coming home with that belt. I just want to thank my sponsors, Miss Mary Jane, CBD, Oregon, Virus Clothing, Drink HRW, and Sanibel. You guys are amazing. You guys have helped me out through my career before I've gotten this. So, and also Compex, they've helped me out a lot with recovery. So just thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. And November 21st, coming home with that belt.